Welcome to Growth Minded Conversations, a weekly podcast where we discuss growing lives, businesses, wealth, and mindset. I'm Amy Dieselkamp, and today we're with Helayna Stott, the executive assistant for Brett Korade and the Lab Realty Group in Virginia. How are you doing today, Helayna?
Good, Amy. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm super excited. I never thought I'd be on a podcast, but I can definitely check it off the bucket list now.
There you go. Yeah, your podcast debut. I'm sure this won't be the
last.
Love it. So Helayna, tell us a little bit about what got you to real estate. Where'd you start off?
Yeah, so I moved to Virginia from Colorado about 6 months ago. And prior to moving here, I was working in the title industry. And while I love the title industry and it taught me a lot about the real estate industry, the lender industry, and the title industry all at once, I realized that I wanted to be on the real estate side of things. So when I moved out here and had to start looking for a new job, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. So I ended up where I did.
Great. Why real estate?
So working in the title company, I kind of got to interact with the clients and some of the agents to a certain degree, and I really loved it. That was my favorite part of my job at the title company. So for me to be able to do it now, like completely and immersively, it makes me really happy.
Yeah. So you get to spend the majority of your day actually talking with clients.
Yeah. Instead of just certain moments where it's like, oh, do the fraud call. It's like, now I actually get to have meaningful conversations with them.
Yeah. So how does that change the way you feel or think about your career path?
Definitely. It's definitely changed. Like, I think that having knowledge previously from the title industry helped me with my real estate path and journey so far. But in the future, I think that this job is even a further stepping stone into, honestly, I don't really know what the future holds for me yet. When I first started this job, I was like, oh, I want to be a real estate agent. And I don't think that that's something that's completely out of the picture in the future, but I've also learned how much I love my role as an executive assistant and the more operational side of things. And I'm excited to see where that will take me in the future as well.
Yeah. You're very naturally operations minded. I've gotten to work with you to see how you think and how you problem solve. Was that always a big piece of the jobs that you had before coming to Lab Realty Group?
You know, I think it was, and I think that this job has given me the opportunity to have that natural talent and execute and act on that talent, or like the mindset that I have. I think that at a lot of my other previous roles, there were always not roadblocks, but people to go through, chains that things had to work through. And now working one-on-one with Brett, I'm able to make those decisions. Not to say that it's easy or it comes naturally, the ability to just do those things. I've learned, since my other jobs were a little bit different, I've kind of learned how to adapt to that. But I would say that I've always loved to have systems and processes in place. I love when everybody knows their part, and if they don't have questions, being comfortable enough to ask, like, hey, how do I do this better, or how I make your life easier in that sense. So yeah.
So take me back to the hiring process. You didn't get to talk to Brett right away, right? You had to go through a few different interviews before you even got to that point. What was that like for you?
The interview process was the best interview process that I've ever been through, honestly. And I say that because it was so in depth, but not in an extra sense. There were no extra questions being asked, or just like, oh, we're just going to keep having more interviews just to keep going. The questions that I was asked in my interview were they weren't even personal, but I think that you guys got to know me as a person and who I was just by the questions that you were asking, the types of exercises that we did, the types of activities. I remember one of the things that we did was, I forgot what it was called, but we went through and kind of wrote down like my life story. Yeah. And I didn't even realize what was going on at the time, but at the end, whoever was interviewing me sends me this thing or reads me this whole explanation about myself. And they're like, does this sound like you? And the words that repeated, does that sound like things that relate to you? I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. Like the interview process was honestly kind of like a self-discovery piece in it.
Yeah.
And I could see it being totally effective used on other people, because the questions, by asking those kind of abstract questions, people have to be themselves. And then you kind of get to know them without any sort of opinions, any bias or anything like that. And you can ask questions unbiasedly as well.
Yeah. Did you learn anything about yourself in the process?
Oh, I learned a lot about myself, especially with the test that I took, I think before I even had a formal interview, the test that I took, and just like all of the problem solving questions that was specifically had. I forgot what it was called, but
the personality assessment.
Yeah, that one. And then when I got the results back from that and it gave me like the blurb about myself, I was like, oh, anytime somebody ever has a question about who I am, I'll just send them the description from this. So I think it naturally kind of it's very fair test, and it helps you naturally realize like the personality traits that you possess. Cause like I said, it's very hard you can't say, oh, I think this is the right answer. There is no right answer. It just figures out and tells you who you are.
Yeah. What would you say your highs were going through that hiring process?
I would say the highs, I think I had just the feeling that the people that were interviewing me cared about the position that I was being into, and that they weren't just trying to find somebody to fill the role or get somebody in there as quickly as possible, which obviously, like when you get hired by an employer, they want you to stay for a long time. But at the same time, being hired, you want to know that it's a good fit. And I just felt very comfortable with the whole process, knowing that, okay, if this works out, this truly is a right fit because they're asking all the right questions and I'll be in a good place.
Yeah. Did you have any disappointments throughout the process?
There were a lot of interviews. However, now that I am where I am, I understand the importance of each and every single one of them. So it wasn't really a negative in the end after all.
You just got to stick it out. In the moment, it might seem like a lot. Stick with
yes.
it. It all will work out.
Yes, they all tell you something important. And I got valuable information from every single interview. It's almost like you guys gave something to me every single time. It's like, okay, well, here's this for you. And, here's your personality test. So it was really cool.
Great. What did you learn, or how do you feel like you were, let me think about how I will ask that. You said that you felt that it was a really good fit because by the end, there have been so many interviews, you learned so much, and you felt like you'd shared so much that the fit was going to be very natural if the hire was made. Do you feel like you got to know Brett and the Lab Realty Group before? Like, do you feel like you knew what you were getting into with them, or did it feel one-sided?
Definitely after the last interview where I got to meet Brett, the structure of that one was intimate enough to where I definitely felt like I got a good feel for who I would be working with. The exercise that we did was really going through what motivates you. I believe that was the whole point of the interview, is what motivates you. And through the questions that Paula was asking me, and then the questions that he responded to by like following up on, I don't want to say they were like super personal questions, because they weren't, but they were the type of questions that you can tell a lot about a person. They weren't just surface level, like, what are your skills? Like, what motivates you? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? The questions that Paula asked then allowed Brett to ask questions, and I was like, okay, like I could get a sense for what he valued.
Yeah. Do you think your values and his values are pretty aligned?
Oh, definitely. I do. I definitely do. Kind of got to read a little bit about him prior to that interview as well. And I knew in air quotes, it was going to be a good fit, but having that interview with him really solidified it.
Yeah. What does that do for you when you get to go to work every day and know that on a personal level, right, at a intrinsic core, your values and the values of the team that you're working for are aligned? What does that do?
Yeah, I think that it makes me pause every once in a while and just kind of ask the big why question. In times of struggle, or in times of disconnect, or even in times of celebration, remembering the big why and what Brett values, and then just remembering that, oh, we share the same values, so like, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So for those who are listening, who may realize that they're in a similar situation, right? Maybe they're just starting their job search, or they're thinking about changing careers altogether and starting new. What advice would you have for them?
My biggest piece of advice would be to know that you're going to fail, and know that it's okay as long as you go for it. There have been a lot of times where I've been unsure of myself, especially in the new role. And I did carry over some knowledge from working in the title industry, but not nearly as much as I thought I would after I had started. And it took time to learn those things, but just ask those questions, ask the questions. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be yourself in the interview as well, because I think that if it's a good fit, naturally it'll work out. And you'll be able to tell if you think it's going to be a good fit or not, based off of all of the interviews that you have. It's quite easy to tell, especially because of the types of questions that are asked. But I think the most important thing is just going for it, and kind of not being afraid to fail and ask questions.
Great. Yeah. Where would you say you've grown the most since starting with Brett now?
Oh my gosh, that is a hard question, because I've learned more in the past, like 6-ish months now than I've learned, I think, like, ever. It's crazy the amount of knowledge that I've learned. I would say the biggest change is just my growth in kind of confidence and how to make decisions, how I impact the team, how I can make a difference in the team, and how important my role is as somebody on the admin side. Even though real estate, you think of the realtors when you think of real estate, but just knowing how big of an impact I can make and how to make that impact, what I can do.
Yeah. How has Brett invested in your growth?
One of my favorite things that we do is that we have a book club every single week. And I think we've read 3 books so far. Right now we're reading The Road Less Stupid. I forgot who it's by, but basically it's a really good book. You should check it out. It's really good. But every single week we meet and we go get lunch and we just talk about the book and how it applies to the business. They're all business focused books. Another one that we read was The Go-Giver. That one was also amazing. And we have discussions about it. Every single time we sit down, we think about how we can apply whatever tips or tricks or knowledge that book is providing to us. Another way that he's helped me grow is just always pushing me to go to the masterminds, go to the classes, sign up for the things. I'm always free and welcome to do any of that. And he definitely encourages it.
That's great. Had you ever experienced a work environment where they invested back in you the way that Brett is doing now?
Not in the sense that it's happening right now. Definitely not. Yeah. There have been trainings or little things here and there with other companies, but never that was custom tailored to me and made me feel like, okay, we're going to focus on you. It's not just a company-wide sort of training class. Yeah.
What are some other ways that Brett makes you feel like a valued team member?
I think that I like how he always encourages me to speak my mind. He encourages me to poke him if I need to. He says, if I need to do something, poke me, it's okay. Yeah. And honestly, having a boss that's like that is super helpful, because I feel like a lot of times with our bosses, we're like, oh, I don't want to bother them, or I don't want to bother them with this or that. And just the fact that he encourages it so heavily makes my job a lot easier. And I think our relationship as a whole a lot easier.
That's amazing. So, Helayna, one last question. What title would you call this chapter in your journey?
Let me think here. I would call it sort of like the becoming. Like I'm becoming this new version of myself that I didn't even really think was possible.
Yeah.
I think it's still a work in progress, but I think I'm getting there every single day, and you can't really end up on the other side without becoming and having your journey first. So that's what I would call it.
That's amazing. I love that. I think that's probably one of my favorite answers I've heard so far.
Thanks. I'm usually really bad at that stuff, so thank you.
It's really great. That's awesome. All right. So Helayna, before we leave today, I know you had given some advice, but was there anything that we didn't cover today about your journey, going through the hiring process, going through your initial onboarding training process, stepping into this role? Any lessons that you've learned so far that we didn't get to go over yet today?
I just want to say that rainmakers and real estate agents tend to be very, very busy people. And I truly believe that although my boss holds all the knowledge that was shared with me and he knows all of the training stuff I went through, I truly don't think that I would be at the level that I'm at today without growth-minded talent solutions, because I just like the whole interview process and matching up process. I don't think they would have wouldn't have found the right match, and I wouldn't have been in the place that I am. And I'm just so thankful for the whole process, because it helped our team be the best that we can. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's always okay to ask for help and have other people help you in finding somebody that's a good match for you and your team.
Yeah. Kind of, I guess, having that buffer of a totally objective person saying, Brett, this is what you really need. Helayna, this is who you really are showing up as, and this is a fit for these reasons, versus both you and Brett trying to, look internally and then say, are they meeting what I think they're meeting, or are they doing what I think they'll do for me?
Exactly.
Doing it with your own internal biases and having a third party there to kind of take those filters out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Great. Well, thank you so much. It was so great to hear your take on it. I'm so glad that you enjoyed the process and that it's going so well for you and your team.
Thank you.
I love to watch you guys grow and see all the things you're doing. So we'll definitely be following you closely to see how the journey continues.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe I'll have to start thinking of a new chapter name for down the road, but I'll start thinking of that now.
Yes. Yeah, and then we'll have to have you back on, and you're going to have to tell us what the new chapter is, how you got there, and where you're going next.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Sounds great. So this won't be the last podcast, I promise.
No. Yes, I'll put the second column in my bucket list.
Yes, there we go. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Helayna. I really appreciate it. And we will talk with you soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Let's make it happen. Visit our website, growthmindedtalent.com, and schedule a call with us today. We look forward to hearing from you soon.